Good today?
Good. Sir, how are you?
Good. Certainly coming off a good win, but now it's on to Wake Forest. Team that had a great win last night against Florida State. I thought they played very well. Great guard play. Bryant Crawford, Keyshawn Woods are really talented guys, and then Darrell Moore inside is he's a real problem, really on both ends. He's biggest guy maybe we'll see, averaging a double-double, really playing well in terms of protecting the rim defensively as you would expect, and they funnel all the ball screens and penetration to him. So I think they do a good job of that. He seems to be getting more and more comfortable the longer he's been starting, and I'm sure that win was very helpful to them, and I thought they played really, really well for most of the game. So we got to have good practices here the next couple days, get our minds back where it needs to be. I think we'll be ready, and looking forward to trying to continue with another good game at Wake.
Get it that you're probably not real big on slogans, but if you had one to be like, we're 18-4, 7-3, great, but still have to finish strong.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep really daily improvement would probably be my slogan.
Yeah.
We just need to keep working. I think our team's done a good job this year of not really overreacting to wins or losses. We're just trying to play and play well and do what we practice. And hopefully that will continue. We certainly have seen things in the last game or two that we need to improve upon. I like where we are. I like how our guys have competed. Certainly we've won some close games, which is a lot of really what being successful in this league is. If you go and look at most teams that are doing well, they're going to win more than their fair share of close games, because that's what a lot of the games end up being. So, we're not going to overpower anybody with our talent or anything like that. We've got to go out and execute a game plan, play well to win games.
I think Martin Arnold will be back.
Don't know. He is going to try 5-on-0 today, so he did get cleared to do that. So he'll do some shooting and run through some dry offense, and really that's probably about it. Stretch, but then hopefully, if no symptoms come back, and he has a good night, then the next day he'll try some contact practice, and if after that the symptoms are still gone and he feels good, then we'll have a chance to use him. But if any of his symptoms come back, then he'll probably be a scratch.
Coach, you were able to sweep Wake last year, came back to win there. How are they different or similar than the team you saw last year?
We both are playing stylistically very similar. The crazy thing about the game at their place last year was they outplayed us. It was funny. I know I said this last year sometimes too, but we really just kind of got lucky and stole a win from them up there. They outplayed us. We won the game. But I felt like there were some other games later in the year where we probably outplayed some teams and they stole it from us. And, but both teams are playing similarly in terms of how, stylistically what they do. They obviously don't have John Collins anymore, and we don't have Jerron and some of our guys, but both teams still have a lot of players back. Their guards are terrific players that have been there a while and are still, playing at a high level. And, Darrell Moore has really emerged in the place of John Collins now. He's getting more touches and really gaining confidence with every outing.
Speaking of their guards, a lot of us remember Randolph Childress playing back in the day at Wake. His son, Brandon, is running the point.
Good player.
What does he bring to the table?
Really good player, competitive like his father, good athlete, quickness, very competitive, good on-ball defender. He's good, and he's one of those guys that, you can see where a lot of it comes from and where his competitive spirit and confidence. I think he's a confident player. He came in as a young guy and was very confident as a freshman and not afraid to try to make plays. He's an aggressive player, and he's going to end up having a really good career there.
Brad, in your career,
Just other really good players I've coached. No, you don't have, you're lucky if you have one or two on your team. But yeah, they're just some guys that, and they're usually offensive guys that like taking big shots, like making plays, want the ball, but, he certainly has made some big shots for us, but yeah, I've obviously coached a few guys like that are, very talented scorers that play with a lot of confidence and want the ball. And, those are important players for sure. But it's, it's fun when those guys are playing well and playing with that kind of confidence because it permeates through your team.
Coach, it was 3 guards been just in the last 3 games since Dante went down to kind of take the reins, it looks like, a little bit of this team?
Yeah, I think they've gotten better the longer it goes. I think one thing that's been really good is the last 2 games, our turnover numbers have been down. Their assist numbers have been really high. They've shared the ball and they've scored and they've looked for each other and played well. And certainly that's always going to be important for this team. Moving forward, they're going to have to continue to do that, but I don't see why they can't.
Because of the injuries, Amir, Clyde, Malik have gotten playing time they might not have gotten. Is it something that can be a blessing down the stretch
Yeah,
for you?
absolutely. No, absolutely. That's one of the things I said early on is, obviously it's tough what happened to Dante. You feel terrible about it, but it's going to end up being a blessing for some of the younger players because they're going to get more time. Amir will be the guy that will get the most out of it because he's going to have the most to gain, but there is a trickle-down effect to Clyde or sometimes Scott Spencer or maybe even an A.J. Oliver and certainly Malik in the last couple games when we're playing against teams with more size, that those guys will get a little bit more opportunity than they would have gotten, and some of them wouldn't have gotten one in certain games just because Dante played so many minutes. So, no, there's no question that the experience that those guys are gaining is invaluable. And, that was one of the big keys to winning the North Carolina game was our bench played well. Those guys played double figures, and they all played very well, contributed in a lot of ways, whether it was scoring or rebounding, and certainly defended their position better.
But you mentioned their 7-footer Brownell Moore. They have another one star who comes off the bench.
Yeah.
How much of a challenge will that be, not only for your bigs, but for your guards when they try to drive?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to finish at the basket. I don't know that you're going to be real successful there, to be honest with you. It's going to force you to shoot more jump shots. And you're not going to get to the rim very often with 2 7-footers. He's a talented guy. For a freshman, he's really mobile, looks to be very poised. He's a tremendous talent. Those guys are good young players. And, that kind of length, there's just not much of that. We haven't seen that much of that yet in our league. We see it with one player sometimes, but we haven't seen that kind of size very often. And it'll be hard to get to the rim.
After getting such a big win, how helpful is it to have 4 days in between so guys can come down and kind of get focused on Wake Forest?
Yeah, I think obviously the quick turnaround, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, we had 2 really good performances and wins. And, just there's been a lot of basketball. We still haven't had our bye yet. And so, we've been going kind of nonstop. And I think yesterday was really good for everybody to just kind of decompress and take a deep breath. Certainly it was nicer after a big victory, and we all got patted on the back a little bit yesterday, which was great. But, we were back in there this morning at 7:15, film session, pointing out the good, the bad, and the ugly of what happened in the game and what we got to do to correct it. And, we're starting our Wake Forest film as soon as I leave this room. So we'll jump right into our Wake Forest scout and have 2 full days to get ready for that.
What was the ugly?
There's always ugly out there. Whether it's illegal screening or turnovers or missed blockouts or poor defensive mistakes from scouting, which there were enough in the second half to keep us in there a while.
Is there anything specific to Amir's skill set that you're able to do dramatically or whatever that maybe you weren't able to do with Dante? I think I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things. No, there's not a lot that – Amir could maybe score a little bit maybe a little better around the rim, maybe. He doesn't, as a freshman, he's not at Dante's level in any of the other things. There's a physicality that he brings that, is good, especially on the defensive end. I think that, Dante really had to work to do all that just because he naturally wasn't as strong initially. But that's something that he's, really proud of Dante for his development. I think he really has worked hard these last couple of years, especially in the weight room, to get to where he was able to hold his own physically down there. That's one of the blessings of Amir is as a freshman, he's a rare guy for us that's strong enough to hold his own, not just for 3 or 4 minutes, but for 20 in a game against big, strong athletes. Anybody else?